You're listening to the Michael Baisden Show podcast.
Thank you all for tuning in to the best show on radio, and I say that sincerely, man. No one else tackles these important issues, and there's nothing more important than domestic violence. A lot of people wait until October for National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, Dominique, but this is something that needs to be talked about every day. I don't remember exactly what the stats were, but I know when we talk about my church family, 1 in 4 women in church, and this is only reported, are victims of abuse, and that is in the church, Dominique.
Yeah, it's a really widespread problem. And, you know, women experiencing it much more than we think, and some men, too. In the United States, 3 women are murdered every day by a male partner. And 4.7 million people in the U.S. women in the U.S. experience violence every year.
And
the
one thing I do know is us the constant dialogue and us the constant pulling the sheets off of this ugly disease that people have, the better for everyone. Because the more people know that we're not going to just stand by and let you beat on someone, and we're going to report you, we're going to get people help, and we're going to pull people out of your house, and we're going to take your kids if you can't keep your hands to yourself.
I'm going to say this, and this may be a little troubling for people who are listening, but I think the reason why you don't have a lot of male DJs talking about this because they may be worried about someone they abused in the past blowing them up. And so we need to have more men who are in my position talking about domestic violence other than in October. I don't even know that it gets done in October. So
You're right.
I'm being honest about this. So it's important to raise awareness. So please listen to the show. Thank you all for calling in. Listen out for the phone number and get out before it's too late because people are losing their lives under this situation of domestic violence. Men and women, Dominic, you right, men too. Check out the calls on domestic violence on the Michael Baisden Show. This conversation is always going to be tough to have because of the number of people who are being killed as a result of domestic violence. Some of the numbers that you all gave us, Tanisha and Dominique. 4 million women in the U.S. who experience physical abuse by an intimate partner every year. 4 million. 1 in 4 women who will be victims of severe violence by an intimate partner in their lifetimes. 1 in 7 men, which is something else we need to talk about. The guys very rarely, if ever, Reese, want to talk about abuse. But let's talk about you. What's going on? Talk to me about domestic violence.
In June of 2015, I had to leave my husband of 12 and a half years because he decided to become violent. He cornered me in a room, and the only reason I know I'm still here is because I was so weak and tired from having gone through that I did not respond to the verbal insults because it was obvious that he wanted me to say something so he'd have a reason to hit me.
To go off.
Yes. And that was the last night I stayed under the same roof with him.
Now, was that the first time that it happened or what? How many series of this were we into?
There was a lead up of just disrespectful name calling, dragging me about everything. You don't look good. I don't want to kiss you anymore. It was just a progression. Yes. And he had lost his job. He was going through a lot. So I thought it was him going through things.
Right.
And I kept trying to be there for him. And then one day he said, the only thing wrong in my life is you.
Aaron, what's going on, man? Thank you for calling in. What's up?
10 years ago, my mom, she got killed, you know what I'm saying, by her dude, you know what I'm saying, due to domestic violence, you know what I'm saying, and she was shot like 6 times, by me knowing that it's men out here like that, I'm just wanting to give the ladies a quick eye opener, you know what I'm saying, like.
Some of the signs that you saw. Mm-hmm.
Some of the signs that I ain't see to after. You know what I'm saying? Because it took me to after she passed to realize what she was going through.
Tell the ladies what they should look out for.
If he cheating, if he disrespecting you, if he can't give you compliments, if he constantly verbally abusing you, are you just know that it can be physical. It can get to physical. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So just leave that situation alone completely. If he can't make you happy, then that's not the man for you anyway, before he even put his hands on you.
Aaron, did you feel helpless in that situation? You saw it happen, and as her son, I'm sure you were younger, obviously.
I'm 34 now. I was 23 at the time. She had little bruises here and there, and I would ask her where they come from. I knew, but she didn't tell us because she didn't want us in her business, you know what I'm saying? But it led to this, you know what I'm saying? So
All I can say, Aaron, is that I hope that a lot of other young men will listen to what you're saying. More importantly, their mothers will listen. Ladies, you got your sons called in. You need to get out before it's too late. National Domestic Violence Hotline, 800-799-7233, 800-799-7233. And Tanisha, you had stories about domestic violence as well.
You know, when I was in high school, I had a boyfriend, and he was violent. And it started off with the ridicule. It started off by him. And I was a strong girl. I was like, I would never let anybody. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And slowly but surely, he broke me down. And I didn't know how I got here. And what it was is he would say something mean-spirited, be mean, and then buy me a gift. And then he'd do something kind. And then I felt like I had to depend on him and all these different things.
How old were you?
At the time, I was in 11th grade when I dated him.
And so the significance of that is this, George. Remember we had the young lady on? We always play her rewind. It's a young lady.
Sure.
Erica, there you go. Look at you, dude. And we played her back, and Erica talked about how because the guy was on the basketball team, and the girls were like, look, they're going to be professional athletes, and they're going to make money, and we need to stick with them and let them. So the guy tried to make her have sex with all of his friends to prove her love, and then when she didn't, he threw on a glass table. She cut herself. I mean, it was just absolutely crazy.
Well, you know what's sad is that with this guy, I had to be in a whole different state. I got on the phone 3-way with my friend in order for me to have the courage, being in a whole different state, to say it was over. And he said to me, I pride myself on taking weak women and strong women and making them weak.
Oh, my goodness.
And that's what he said to me.
That is crazy. On the phone line with us, we got B. B, what's going on? Tell me your story.
Hi, Michael. Several years ago, I was in a very abusive relationship, and just hearing this topic and knowing what I'm getting ready to say to you just makes my voice quivers, because I know what I went through. And I'm hoping what I say, if someone else is going through that, they would just get out and don't look back. But I went through a relationship where I was with a boyfriend, and when he wanted to beat me, he would put that deadbolt lock on that you took the key out and you needed a key to get out.
I remember.
And he would beat me for things like, he came home one night and he said, why isn't the chicken thawed out? And I said, well, I tried to thaw it out. It's thawing out now. It's too frozen. And he said, all you had to do was run some water on it. And I said, well, it's soaking. And he said, well, if I run some water on this chicken and I thaw it out in 15 minutes, he said, I'm going to beat the hell out of you.
Oh, my God.
And he ran water on the chicken to try to thaw it out. And he walked over to me. And he said, I was able to thaw that chicken out. Didn't I tell you what I was going to do to you if I thawed that chicken out? And Michael, he would beat me. I mean, hit me in the face with his fist.
Oh, my God.
I woke up with him pouring beer on me.
How did you get out? How did you find the strength?
I found the strength to finally walk away after he would beat me in front of his friends. And I thought if I let his friends hang around and even spend the night, that he wouldn't beat me and I can sleep. But he would beat me in front of his friends, and his friends would offer to help me. And he would look at them and say, if you help her, I would F you up.
Oh.
And I would get beat in front of his friends.
No.
I would go to work. When I came home, I wasn't allowed to cash my check until I gave him all of the money.
B, you got to do me a favor. Did you get out? How did you get out? Because women are listening. I need that before I let you go.
I got out because I no longer could hide the black eyes, the chipped teeth. And my mother looked at me and she said, he's going to kill you.
Yep.
And I got out. But years later, I married. And it's still hard for me sometimes to even look at my husband, because it's hard to trust a good man, because you're afraid that he may do that to you too. But, get out. Don't stay, because if they hit you and they say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that, it won't happen again. Don't wait for it to happen again. Get out. Because you may not have a chance to tell this story.
That's right. Hey,
or
B,
tell your story.
B, I cannot thank you enough for calling in and sharing this story.
Oh,
Hopefully
thank
somebody
you,
will get
Michael.
out. That's all I want them to do as a result of listening
God
to this
bless
story
you.
is get out. Thank you so much, B.
And I thank all of you at the station, because if it wasn't for you bringing up these topics, for people like me listening to get us to let people know what's going on,
right.
other ladies out there and some men won't hear us to know I can get out if she got out.
That's right.
You're listening to the Michael Baisden Show, family, sponsored by VideoPitch.com. If you have a story, a talent, or a business to promote, and I'll share with my 5 million monthly users. And here's the best part. You get paid to do it. Log on to VideoPitch.com now and become a contributor. That's VideoPitch.com. Now back to the Michael Baisden Show.
You know, I learned I guess from doing this show so many years, I sometimes think there's only adults listening to the show. And the reality is, George, that the young people are locked in on these topics because we're talking about domestic violence, and it starts with the teens, G-Dub.
Well, it starts with them seeing a lot of times their parents being abused or being abusers. So, you know, it's a vicious cycle, man. And you're right, man. The youth have to be involved with this conversation like everyone else.
Dominique, go ahead.
I feel like it is watching, but I also feel like there's a culture that we glorify the whole gangster boyfriend, the guy who protects his girl, and the controlling man. I had a young teenage girl tell me one time that she didn't think her boyfriend loved her unless he hit her.
And that's what's sad. It's like when you've been in abusive relationships, you feel like love is supposed to hurt. When I finally, like my husband and I have been together a long time, we broke up. I ended up in that abusive relationship in high school, right? And for me, it was like one of those things where I was believed to him to show love by that abuser. Him being jealous was not cute. But people convince us, oh, it's cute that he gets so angry.
Right.
It's cute that he's so possessive. Look at him.
Yeah, he loves
No,
you
it's not.
because he loves you. That's why he hit you. He loves you. That's why he's getting angry. He loves you. That's why he's acting crazy because he cares about you. That's crazy. That's not healthy.
He's insecure and he's dangerous.
Talk about it, G-Dub. To all the teens who are tuned in, thank you, man. You guys, look, you all got to stop the cycle in your age group. Don't wait until you get to be adults. So Erica is a rewind. We call them rewinds on the show. It's an old call that we had. This young lady called in. She was a teenager, and this is what she said about her abuse as a teen.
I was just turned 16, and I have always been like a bigger girl, a plus-size girl, and I finally got attention from the star of the basketball team, and I felt like, and all my friends felt like I need to do whatever it took to stay with him, and I felt like that's what I need to do, too, to get popular. The first time he hit me, it was because I told him I wanted to go to the gym and lose weight, and he hit me dead in my face. And
You're talking about, wait, when you talk about hit, a slap or a punch?
It was a punch it knocked out 2 of my teeth.
Oh.
And I actually hid it from my mother, and since I played tennis, I felt like I told her that the ball hit me in my mouth, and that's how my tooth fell out.
What happened? I mean, why would you go back after that? What happened?
I came to school the next day, and all my friends were telling me, my boyfriend hit me all the time. I'm with him.
Oh, my goodness.
And I had friends who were telling me, my boyfriend's in college, and he's going to be an NBA star, and your boyfriend is too. You'll be stupid to leave him. I had people telling me, you're fat, you're ugly. Why would you leave a basketball player who was what every girl wanted? And actually, the main straw for me, which should have been that, I was tutoring his little sister for community service hours, and he showed up with 3 of his friends. And they pulled me to the side, and they said they all wanted to get some, and I was going to give it to them. When I said no, 2 of them held me down while he just hit me in my face. His little sister is the one who actually ran to the neighbor's house to tell him what was going on. And he hit me maybe 3 times. When they pushed me down again, I fell on one of the glass tables, and I actually have a permanent mark in my leg now where the piece of glass went right up into my leg, and I couldn't hide it from my mom then.
If you or someone you love is a victim of domestic violence, please contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline. The number is 1-800-799-7233.
Nikki, what's going on? What's on your mind?
Well, Mr. Baisden, I suffered domestic violence with my ex-husband for 15 years. And I hid a lot of it from family, from friends. I was, isolated myself because I didn't want to share what I was going through. I suffered broken bones. I tried to hide it from the kids. And what really got me was the fact that he filed for a divorce. I didn't even know I was going through a divorce, but I was always threatened with, if I left him, he would take our son from me. He was known to do this with a previous relationship, and these were things that I seen the signs, but I ignored them. And it's just what Dominique said. We downplay stuff. Oh, he did it. Oh, he did it this time. He won't do it again. And it just increases, because you're allowing this stuff. And then, I grew up in a time, in an era where, our mothers taught us to, if he had a good job, you stay with him. As long as he could take care of home, that's a good man. But that doesn't necessarily make that a good man. And because I suffered broken bones that I have to look at every day, I see pins in my foot now, from this injury. When this man threw me down a flight of stairs in front of our 3-year-old at the time, and he's pulled guns on me. And the thing of it is, I'm in law school right now because I feel like God had me to go through the experience.
How did you get out, and what do you want to say to women going through the hell that you went through?
Let me tell you, it's like when you file a restraining order, truthfully, it doesn't protect you at all. And if you go before the judge and plead, to try to get the help, to try to keep this person from doing the things that they're doing to you, it's like they use the court to manipulate, especially if there's a child involved. And the things that really keep you from getting the help is that financially you don't have an attorney to fight for you, so they make you go through legal aid to get the help. And legal aid is not helping these women at all. I was one of those women. I watched the attorney sit there and actually do nothing for me in the court. I watched police officers come to the house when I called 911 to get help. And because of his job and his status, he was able to manipulate. And, of course, I ended up at one point in time going to jail.
What?
Because they put me in jail. And I've been through hell.
Nikki, I can do a whole show with you, but I need you to give me something for the women and the men who've been abused who are listening. Give them something to help them before we end this call, real quick.
Get out. Stay out. Surround yourself with positive people. Tell somebody. Talk to people about it. Get counseling. These are things that we don't do. These are things that, as I'll say it, as black people, we don't go and get counseling.
We don't do. I agree.
We don't do it.
There's something about counseling for us that we see as a negative thing, or what white people do. It's crazy. Nikki, I'm so proud of you getting in law school and getting out.
Thank you.
What's up, Reynolds? How you doing, man?
I wanted to come from a perspective of a man. I haven't been abused. I haven't abused anybody. I want to come from the perspective of being able to recognize it in the people's lives around you and being an advocate for a woman that may be abused and a man that you may see traits of control that could lead to abuse in his woman. And I'll kind of put it in a framework. My wife's younger sister was in an abusive relationship for a long time, and I've known her since she was 15. And I've recognized the traits of her husband very early on, and I would ask her questions about things that were going on. When I saw control, when I saw different behaviors, when I saw her withdrawing from everybody, changing her mind, changing her position on certain things in order to fit his ideology and his thoughts.
So I'm curious about something, Reynolds. Let me engage you real quick. So you would talk to her, but would you talk to him?
I would talk to him. He and I were actually fairly cool, and he was one of those men that used the Bible a lot to justify his so-called control over her. And he always went to Ephesians and talked about wives submitting to their husbands. I would ask him.
You already know I'm being ready to go off. Stop.
Belief of behavior.
1 in 4 women in the church are abused. So it's going on in the church, and it's being justified by some pastor.
Make sure you say
Make
that.
sure I say something, because there's a lot of pastors who are doing the right thing. Go ahead, Tanisha.
Because to me, that's a mental health issue.
Yes.
There's no way that you can use a Bible that's supposed to be something positive as far as a religion and then justify putting pain on somebody. So let's just make that clear.
But he was that kind of dude. Go ahead, finish your point and wrap it up for me, Reynolds.
Well, he was that kind of dude, and I would always ask him, well, what does the next verse say? And he would never repeat what the next verse said, which is, husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church.
There we go.
That's right.
We have Latifah on the line. Latifah, you there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here. And hello, you all. I love your show, Michael Basin. I
Thank
listen
you.
to you as often as I can after work. I'm a little shaky, guys. I'm so sorry. But it must be God that this show is on domestic violence for today. I lost one of my younger cousins due to domestic violence. She was shot up in Indiana outside her daughter's daycare February of 2014. And we just had to say goodbye to her yesterday. I wasn't able to get there. She's currently residing in Virginia, where she was trying to get herself together. She was shot multiple times. So we were able to keep her with us for the last 4 years. I called her a miracle. But I'm very glad to hear that the show is speaking on domestic violence. It's touching me and a lot of loved ones in this way. We didn't think that we would have to experience anything like this. So
Latifah, we got some time. Hold on, we got some time. I need you to give me the story. What happened?
Okay.
What happened?
Okay. She moved to Indiana with her husband and her daughters. They had a child together. He was military. She's been in and out of the court system with domestic violence with him, where they got to the point where they had a divorce. She had restraining orders. She was supposed to bring her daughter back to the father that Friday, but it was Valentine's weekend, and she chose to keep her over the weekend. It frustrated the father, and that Monday morning when she went to take both of her daughters to the daycare, he opened fire on her in the parking lot, shooting her multiple times. She was able to tell the paramedics his name. It's overwhelming. So when she recovered, she never fully recovered. Some of her intestines were messed up from the gunshots, and she had to get multiple surgeries. She was wearing a colostomy bag.
Oh, my God.
But I always, would say how strong she was, because she was a miracle to still be alive.
So he got
We had
frustrated.
rappers being shot.
Hold on. I want to make sure he was frustrated because he was supposed to get the kids on Valentine's Day weekend. She kept him over the long weekend, and that set him off.
Yes, sir, because 4 years ago, Valentine's fell on that Friday, and he shot her up. No, not Friday. I think it may be Thursday, whichever. But he opened fire on her that Monday morning, taking her children to the daycare.
God, Tommy.
In Indiana.
This dude shooting up at the daycare.
What mental health?
Mental health.
Clearly it's mental
health
health.
issues right there.
Go ahead,
I'm just
Dominique.
like,
No, I mean it's clearly it's mental health, but it's also what we've been talking about. There's just not enough protection for the women. I mean, this is what happened in the situation with my sister and her death at the hands of my other sister's husband. Is that the restraining orders didn't work,
Right.
and the calls to the police didn't work. And so my question is, what are we doing to protect these women?
So what do you want to share, Latifah, that you think can help other ladies? Wrap it up for me real quick.
I just think that she was a younger cousin than me. So I just wish that anyone experiencing any type of domestic violence, don't be afraid, speak out, let someone know. She did let other family members within her age bracket where she could relate to, she let them know the things. But elders, we need to step up and pay attention to the...
Latifah, thank you for that story. That was overwhelming. I cannot believe this man shot up the daycare.
Thanks, family, for listening to the Michael Basin Show podcast, sponsored by VideoPitch.com. Go to VideoPitch.com now and be a part of our growing community of writers, video producers, and filmmakers, and get paid to share your business, opinion, and talent with the world. That's VideoPitch.com. Write it down, family. Write it down. VideoPitch.com.